sexy, she's curvy, and she's sensual. She's captivating, charming. You want to know more about me, but you only get this much. I know you want to know more, but a little at a time. If every man is evil, it doesn't matter who she serves or who she harms. My royal babes, our video today is on Megara.
Megara. My friends call me Meg, at least they would if I had any friends.
She's really the dark feminine. Of course, she's not very feminine. She's more of the wounded feminine because of she's not healed yet, and that's basically her whole story. So Megara, she's the female main character in Hercules. Sexy, she's curvy, and she's sensual. She's wounded because of her past relationship, her ex-boyfriend. She sold her soul to the devil. Yes, I know, the devil, Hades.
Speak of the devil.
She sold herself to him to save her boyfriend. I don't know if her boyfriend was sick or something. And he betrayed her and ran off with another girl.
You sold your soul to me to save your boyfriend's life. And how does this creep thank you? By running off with some babe.
And so her soul was sold to the devil forever. Because of that, she was so wounded. She was like, all men are the same.
Release that young.
Keep moving,
She's going to
Junior.
be a strong, independent woman. She needs no man, literally. Because all men are the same, so what's the use of going for any other guy? She's about 20 years old, so it's crazy that she's already going through that kind of experience. Want to know more about true love? I have a free ebook just for you. So all you have to do is just sign up to the newsletter and become officially a royal babe, and you get your free ebook. Link is in the bio. I'll make another video on the wounded feminine if you want to see it, so put it down in the comments below and make sure you subscribe. So she's more wounded, so the things that she would exacerbate, that she'll put for, even though it appears feminine, it's a pretense, it's a cover-up. These are some of the dark feminine energy traits that she incorporates. She's very mysterious, like, woo. She has this foreboding vibe, like, oh, you want to know more about me, but you only get this much. I know you want to know more, but a little at a time. That's how Jia also is. People say it's breadcrumbing, but it's very good to make people get to know you. Like, you give a little at a time. If you put forth everything at a time, people will know what they'll be like, oh, I know everything already, so there is no chase, there's no box to open, like I know it all. Of course, you cannot just be in your dark feminine. You need the light and the dark at the same time. Otherwise it's not going to work. Like I said, she's wounded, so even though she's mysterious, she gives a little at a time, but she's not really going to tell you all because she's very deceptive and manipulative. Like, it will come out later in my next video, so make sure you subscribe. So she's very manipulative in that sense, so she's not going to tell you the real deal, but she's just going to give you a little so you crave more. She's assertive, so she stands up for herself, but her boundaries are still crossed. So a feminine woman, she's going to be assertive and make sure her boundaries are not crossed. That's the dark feminine side. But with her boundaries are still crossed with manipulation because she's wounded. So if you're wounded, people can easily manipulate you. So Hades just has to say when she doesn't want to do something. He just has to say, or when she was falling in love with Hercules, Hades was like, oh, he's a guy. Remember what your ex did to you?
Get it.
Meg, my sweet little tiny detail. I own you!
I'm going to take away your freedom. You see, because people can use things against her, and because she's able to, those things affect her. Sometimes, right? People can use things against you, but then if it doesn't affect you anymore because you are healed from it, it doesn't matter. But she's not healed from it, so he just has to.
Hear that sound? It's the sound of your freedom. Fluttering out the window forever.
Do something, and then she's already gone. The boundaries are already crossed. So her posture and her body language shows confidence. She knows she's that girl. She doesn't beg or chase. She attracts. Because why should she? she naturally attracts, and even though she's beautiful, but she's also very flirtatious. And that can also be a form of control, and we'll get to it later. We'll get to it in the next video about why she's so manipulative. I'm comparing her to Delilah in the Bible. She's sensual. She's not only sexy. Like, there are so many women out there nowadays. They're just sexy. You just show some skin, show boobs, show thighs, show butt, and then yeah, that's all. But she is sensual, so she activates all your senses. Like, smells good, looks good. She doesn't have to show cleavage. She doesn't have to show body, nothing. Yet she looks good. She's captivating, charming. When you're dark in your dark feminine, you are kind, but it doesn't come from a place of fear. She may show kindness, but there's all an ulterior motive. So once there's an ulterior motive for the things you do, you are not feminine anymore. Like, it becomes wounded.
If I say I want Wonder Boy's head on a platter, you say
Medium or well done.
She really weaponizes her beauty. She will not throw herself at you or give herself all the way. No. But the way she will behave, you will go all googly eyes and Google gaga over her. Because Hercules had this trope of women chasing him, but he could only see Meg because she's not going to chase him like all the other girls. But once in a while, you see her. So he misses her. He even said he misses her. Like, her seductive charm includes her voice, her confident demeanor, and her body language. She's very independent, number 2. Feminist mantra that she started taking.
Keep moving, Junior.
You aren't you a damsel in distress?
I'm a damsel. I'm in distress. I can handle this. Have a nice day.
Like she said, she's not a damsel in distress. She can handle it. So keep moving, Junior. But that's because she's afraid of. She thinks every man is the same, so she refuses support from any man for any man to be like, oh, he's better than the other when they are all the same anyway. And she's complex. When you see her at first, you may think, oh, she's just this sexy, beautiful, sensual girl that I want. She's mysterious, I want her. But she's complex. She has more depth than you think. But that depth, she hides it because she's afraid to be vulnerable. So when it comes to her relationships, how is she like? In the movie, we saw that she trusts men so little that
How'd you get mixed up with the
Pinhead with hooves. Well, you know how men are. They think no means yes and get lost means take me, I'm yours.
she would not accept help, even when a literal monster is trying to get her. I think that horse man thing, he wanted her for himself or whatever, but she would not accept help from Hercules because she does not want to be a damsel in distress, because that shows weakness for her and she does not want to be weak, because weakness means lack of control and she needs to be in control, and she feels like all these men are monsters anyway, all of them, and she's not impressed when he helps her. At first she was like, oh, she's not impressed, and then she uses flirting to mask that she's not impressed and keep control, because she was flirting. Oh, okay, you did all this like that, but she's not actually really thankful or impressed. She's like, oh, just another guy trying to show off, blah blah blah, but he's just like the other guys. So another thing with her relationships is that Hades manipulated her with her past experience to remind her that all these men are all the same.
can't believe you're getting so worked up about some guy.
This one is different. He's honest and he's sweet.
Please.
He would never do anything to hurt me.
He's a guy.
They all start off as good, and her past relationship made her swear
Very
off men.
Don't
Manhandling.
even
Number
go
3,
there.
she kept probing Hercules for his weakness, kind of like Delilah, because not just because Hades told her to do it, and he needs it to succeed, but also to reinforce her worldview that all these guys, even when he appears good and kind, there's something there, there's a weakness there, there's something fishy there, maybe there's some trickery. She said, do you have some trickery going on? Like, there's something there. He cannot just be this nice guy. But for Meg had no friends or family. I don't know if she cut ties with them or they cut ties with her, or she was too afraid to get close to anybody. She seems to be a very lonely person, but she likes it in a sassy, I don't care kind of way. And I used to be like that, but then by God's grace, I'm changing. She knows she's sexy and she uses it by not giving her heart. So if she's able to mask or she's able to distract you with her sexiness, you will fall in love with her, and then you will not even remember that, oh, she doesn't love me back. You keep on giving your heart to her, but she's not going to give it back. And because she's not giving it back, because she's so detached, people will become more attracted to her, trying to win her over, trying to win her mind. But then later, what happened? So later,
Be
she
the key to
submitted to
bringing
the
down
masculine
Wonder
hero
Breath.
because he made her feel safe. He was this masculine, strong man. Even though he was masculine and strong, he was always very delicate with her, making sure to protect her, making sure to feel safe, trying listening to her, making sure to feel heard, making her feel like she's not dishonest, she's not petty, even though she really is. So because of that, she was able to rest in her femininity and become more vulnerable. So the feminine side that she was trying to hide so much was able to show, and she was not afraid to love anymore because she knew that falling in love with him, she's not going to get hurt, and he's not like every other guy or her past. Number 2, in one of the scenes, she was trying to seduce him to give the weakness up, and she was shocked that he was not taken by her. He didn't become aroused or helpless at her flirting, even though he was clearly uncomfortable, but he didn't take the bait, and he even adjusted her strap when he fell down.
No weaknesses whatsoever. No, trick me.
No.
And she was like, what? Any other guy would be like, oh, have me. But he got up because he has self-control. So basically he resisted her. So that means he just doesn't see her as just some object or eye candy or things like that. Like, he respects her enough to wait for the appropriate time to take it further. That made her see that she's I mean, I'm adding more meaning to what it is, but if it was in real life, it doesn't make her feel like, oh, he's a man of integrity. He doesn't just want my body, he must want more from me. So I'm able to rely on him and feel safe with him. If every man is evil, it doesn't matter who she serves or who she harms. That's why she was literally serving Satan. But then later, she no longer made her pain blind to love or blind to actual good people who want to love her. That's why sometimes we may be in our wounded state, wounded feminine, and when we've not healed, we are sucking away even the good guys away because we think all men are the same. But not all men are the same. Not all women are the same. There are some really rubbish women who have broken a lot of these good guys, their hearts, and that's why they become who they are now. So don't think all guys are the same. Otherwise, if you think like that, you're going to keep seeking that, and when you keep seeking that, you're just going to get your heart more broken and broken and broken, so you feel like, what's the use? Like she said, it doesn't matter who she serves or who she harms, but everybody's the same. And from Hercules' point of view, to love a woman for a man is to put himself completely at her mercy. Because even though Hercules is a strong guy that no monster can hurt him or whatever, it's a woman that can bring him down. It's a woman that took away his power, kind of like Samson. Yeah, a woman that took away his power, so he becomes totally vulnerable when he falls for a woman. So it's a very delicate situation to put himself in. So when she realized that she could be his weakness, yet he still chose to fall for her and still chose to want to be with her, she realized that she does not have to hold on anymore. And then later, Hercules was about to die under a pillar like Samson. She shoved him off and took his place to die for him. That's how much love she had for him. Of course, it just, the love, it came about in like 24 hours. But looking in a real life sense, if you actually fall in love with somebody, you can even die for the person. Yeah, and that's what happened here. And that's when Hercules found that even though she was manipulating him or trying to betray him, she still changed in the end. But of course, what I would like to add is that when you're in your wounded feminine, like how Meg was, when you're a wounded feminine, right, you tend to settle for less because you don't love yourself, or you don't feel like you deserve the best, so you try to seek that love from other places. Like she settled for Hades, basically. So if you love yourself, you will not be serving Satan or doing the will of Satan, would you? Even though it was basically a deal, she was still like, oh, I'm going to do it anyway because everybody's the same. Because she didn't care about herself much at that point. She didn't love herself enough to set boundaries that no, she's not going to do this, not going to do that, whatever, regardless of the deal. To love yourself unconditionally, right? And to love your neighbor as yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you love your neighbor? Like the Bible tells us to. So to love yourself, I know sometimes it may be hard when you feel like you are not worth anything or whatever. But when you see how much love God has for you, Jesus has for you, that's why you're able to see that if the God who created the universe, the God who created my eyes, my nose, my lips, each and every human being, billions of people on earth, the fish, the skies, the moon, my intestines, the process of giving birth, like all those things, if the God who created all that loves me, I must be worth loving, right? Once you realize that, and then you realize the length God took to be a human and die, it's kind of similar to this Hercules, the human thing, and I might talk about it in another video. Subscribe. When you find that, then you see like, I'm not going to settle for less, because God himself did not settle. When he came to me, he died so that I can be free. He gave up the biggest sacrifice so that I can be free. Then I'm not going to settle for less. I deserve the best because God loves me that much. So I'm also going to love myself. That way, you're able to see even your flaws as something unique to you, something special. Remember, I went for an interview in this, my beauty mark. I call it a beauty mark, and they were like, "Oh, it's a mark or a mole. Or, they would call it something." I was like, "Oh yeah, my beauty mark." You see, I'm not going to let people make me feel like, oh, it's an imperfection or something, because it makes me unique. It differentiates me from everybody else. If everybody looks the same, it's going to be boring, isn't it? Yeah. So once you see yourself like that, Nothing can bring you down. I'll make another in-depth video about the wounded feminine, so make sure you subscribe. I'll see you in the next video on this series about Delilah and Megara. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in that video.
For God so loved you that he gave his only son, so you and I will believe in him and not perish, but have everlasting life.